What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jonathan Papelbon, and this is the Cinco Ocho Show. I love baseball. It's become somewhat of a coping mechanism for me for the past few years. But baseball, like most good things, is temporary. And to be honest, that 3.5-month period between the World Series and spring training sucks. There's trades, free agent signings, and hot stove meetings, but as a Red Sox fan, it's not like we participate in any of those. Plus, those events just end up culminating in the play on the field come late March. But us Red Sox fans have found the light at the end of the tunnel that is the grueling off-season process. Winter weekend. If you're a fan of any given major league team, you're likely entitled to a winter fan festival. You've got Guards Fest, Reds Fest, Dodgers Fest, Royals Rally. Every team does it a little different, but it usually boils down to this: a fan fest with family-oriented activities, player panels discussing the past and future of the club, season ticket holder incentives, and autograph or photo opportunities. But the Red Sox go all out. Instead of a day of meeting players, buying clearance merchandise, and playing wiffle ball, you know what you get? 2 whole days of meeting players, clearance merchandise, and wiffle ball. If you'd want something more, I don't know where to put you. But Red Sox Winter Weekend seems as though it's always in the news, and never for the right reasons. Comments made by Red Sox management at the event are usually the subject of major uproar across the internet. So with all the controversy, I decided I'd make my comments. But how can you formulate your own opinion if you don't know what Winter Weekend's all about? I decided I'd take some video and photo while I was there, to did my best to describe the events. For context, this was my 3rd Winter Weekend. Take it away, Pass Me, Denny.
Guys, this will likely be the only shot you see of my face while we're here. We're at the welcome event right now, and it's going to start very soon, so you'll just be seeing B-roll for the rest of this, and I'll voice over. Enjoy, guys.
We arrived at the Mass Mutual Center at 4 o'clock. 4:30 they let us in, and not much was happening. Wally and Tessie came out to sort of rile up the crowd a bit, but when 6 o'clock came, it was time for the Cinco Ocho Show, starring Jonathan Papelbon. It started out pretty calm, with Pap having some banter with Tom Karen of Nesson, but Pap was hilarious. He had no filter whatsoever, and we would end up seeing a lot more of that later in the show. Then, of course, they have the annual tradition of welcoming the team up, introducing players one by one. I got this awesome action shot of Brian Bayo, and this terrible selfie with Tanner Houck. Immediately afterward, Pap invited Alex Cora, Tristan Casas, and Trevor Story up to the stage, and Pap was asking the tough questions. He was asking Cora about what he thought of the team, and Cora was giving the standard answers, essentially boiling down to, I can't really do much with this team until management helps me, but we're going to keep kicking ass as much as we can. And Story and Casas commented on their personal regimens and what they've been doing over the offseason and how that's going to affect them in 2024. It wasn't horrible, but what the fans were expecting ended up being the most controversial part of the night. Sam Kennedy and Craig Breslow came up. Sam Kennedy gave your standard runaround answers, you know, we feel the same way you do about the team, and we're going to do everything in our power to help them, but it meant really nothing. But Craig Breslow did the impossible. He addressed the chief issue: pitching. The crowd was in an uproar. They stopped their boos. Everyone was cheering for Breslow. I really think that he's going to be a fun face in Boston now that people are actually going to respect him. But it didn't matter. Their segment ended. Then it was time for a little heartfelt tribute to the life of Tim Wakefield. Not a dry eye in the house, a real tearjerker of a video. Everyone was clapping. Let's Go Red Sox broke out right afterward. And then they did the only thing that they could. They welcomed up the legends that played alongside Wakefield: David Ortiz, Pedro Martinez, and Jason Varitek. They exchanged some memories, some laughs, some tears. Papelbon could barely keep himself together. But then they ended the show on a positive, with a lot of laughing and some embarrassing pictures. After the show, I was lucky enough to get an autograph from Papelbon, who was signing for just about everybody. Then we checked out the Fan Fest, but it was a little busy, so we went over to MGM Springfield, got some food in us, and then decided to go hunting for autographs. I got an autograph from Rob Refsnyder and Brennan Bernardino. Bernardino also took a selfie with me, and I also got a selfie with Lou Merloni. Now let's move on to day 2. When we got there, we started to check out Fan Fest, and it was pretty cool, until I met face-to-face with my old nemesis. Pass me, Denny. Take it away.
I just recorded a clip of me stretching, getting loose, just starting this whole thing and describing what I was going to do. Only in hindsight did I realize the fact that these microphones the one I'm wearing on my hat, they mute. And I had them muted the whole time. So I'm going to re-describe what I plan to do here. You ever go to a baseball game or a baseball game adjacent event, and they have one of those pitch speed radars where your little Roger Clemens can see how slow his fastball is? Yeah, I don't care how much they cost. Literally any baseball game I go to, I'm doing that. And I embarrass myself every time. So I decided that in preparation for winter weekend, I'm going to get ready to throw my fastest pitch. Because a 48 mile per hour fastball is not going to cut it. Alright, we're all set up. We've got gloves on. We've got a hard baseball, and we're using a folding table as our strike zone. So let's do this. We're not going to go the full major league distance, which is 60 feet and 6 inches. Which is not surprising because they wouldn't do that on the pitch radars either.
I was a bit flustered early on. I felt like I wasn't showing any progress and it wasn't going anywhere. But then I found my rhythm, and things started to pick up from there.
Mom, if you're watching this, I'm not hurting your garage door.
Then I just threw one last pitch so I could analyze one final time, and I felt really good. So then what did I do? Did all my work pay off? Did I A, throw the hardest pitch of the day, B, throw a pitch that was harder than my first attempts, or did I C, throw 48 miles an hour again? You guessed it! So after I was done making a fool of myself, it was time for the autograph sessions. We started off by getting an autograph from Roman Anthony, one of the top prospects in the Red Sox pipeline. Then we got a picture with Fred Lynn, one of the greatest Red Sox to ever live. They were both super cool. Then, at long last, I finally got the autograph from Trevor Story. Alright, it's time for a quick story time. Yes, yeah, I know. Thank you. Calm down, guys. Shut up! So at last year's Winter Weekend, I got the pleasure of meeting Trevor Story. We took a picture. It was a quick interaction. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be with him long enough to get the autograph. So when I learned that Trevor Story was going to have a rehab start in Worcester, you knew I had to go. He signed for literally no one. I'm going to be honest, I was a little disheartened. Trevor Story was my favorite player at the time, and I didn't want to see him in a bad light. So it just so happened at Winter Weekend, I got his autograph. And now, I think he's back to being my favorite player. Now that, well, I don't want to talk about it. After that, we took a picture with Richard Fitz and Justin Slayton, two more prospects that we got back in the Alex Verdugo trade, but still it was really cool. Once we finished our autograph sessions, we headed back down to FanFest. I absolutely demolished a hot Italian sausage. Then we got to meet Wilyer Abreu and Enmanuel Valdez. They signed autographs for me, but they smudged right off the baseball. So we decided to head back over to MGM and try and get more autographs there. No one was there. Hey, win some, you lose some. We came back to FanFest, met up with some friends. Then I got to meet Jared Saltalamacchia and get his autograph. Then we left, and that was my day. Forgot to mention this part in the edit somehow. I then went to call a basketball game at the Basketball Hall of Fame, as if that didn't matter. Here's some pictures. Whew, that was a blast. So it's a lighthearted, fun event. Why would so much controversy surround it? Well, prior to 2024, Winter Weekend had what was called a town hall event. They would include Red Sox management and ownership taking questions from the audience about the state of the club. This is what the majority of the controversy stemmed from. So, in efforts to cover their asses, the Red Sox did away with the town hall in favor of the Cinco Ocho show. The change was pretty jarring. Some say they were mad at Red Sox ownership for not showing up, saying they chickened out. Others were upset they weren't able to express their opinions. But I wanted to get a second opinion. And a third. Alright, who am I here with?
You're here with Rob. How's it going?
My first sit down was with Rob, aka Fade Lines. He's a Red Sox TikToker, podcaster, and vlogger, and this was his first Winter Weekend. Rob also made a Winter Weekend vlog, which will be linked in the description. Alright, who am I here with?
You are here with Ian and Angelo. I am a Celtics TikTok creator, but I'm also a huge Red Sox fan.
Next, I sat down with Ian, a prominent Celtics creator who isn't afraid to trade the hardwood for the diamond. He's been to a few Winter Weekends in the past. Just to preface, I know obviously you're a Red Sox fan, you're a Red Sox content creator. How long has it been since you started supporting the Red Sox? You know, going to games, buying merchandise, making content about them, expressing your opinions. How long has it been?
So for me being a Red Sox fan, I've been since birth. That's kind of the thing because my family obviously born and raised in Boston. You have to be a Red Sox fan. If you're not a Red Sox fan, you're kind of banished, especially in the household. But about 15 years where I've been invested, where I can have actually core memories of the season. Obviously, growing up, I was born in the 999, so I was alive for '04. I was alive for '07, but I wasn't old enough to remember it until like the recent championships, like 2013, 2018. That's when I started getting heavily invested into it. 2020 during COVID, like obviously during the quarantine, it was kind of like one of those things where I just hopped on TikTok and I hear all these sounds and I'm like, oh my god, I have so many ideas. And I just started making TikToks like with the sounds about baseball and the Red Sox, and it started popping off. And then I seen people reacting to the games that are going on. And obviously in 2020, not a lot of cool games are going on. So in 2021, once the season started back up, I was like, you know what? Why don't I react to the TV and react to the game going on? And a lot of people loved it because I on TikTok, I'm very unfiltered sometimes. I don't say nothing bad that will get me in trouble, but very unfiltered, and people like that kind of stuff. So I just like make a couple jokes, say it as it is. But yeah, I love making content about the Red Sox as much as they pay me sometimes. At the end of the day, I love it because baseball's my passion.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It might seem crazy to think about, but I've actually been a Red Sox fan longer than I've been a Celtics fan. I grew up watching the Red Sox. My first Red Sox team I ever watched was the 2007 Red Sox when they went to the World Series. So I've been a huge Red Sox fan ever since then. I love baseball, and obviously I love the Celtics and basketball, but I'll never not love baseball.
That's awesome. That '07 team was really special. So just obviously we're here to talk about Red Sox winter weekend. And what were your expectations going in? What did you know?
So I knew about Winter Weekend because I've seen it before. I've seen it last year, and obviously last year was my first time seeing it be like big because I know in 2022 they still had it at different places, but it wasn't as like pushed out as it was last year and this year. I knew it was at the MGM, which was a surprisingly very accessible for me. Obviously, you could just hop on the commuter rail. And Springfield is a nice city. Obviously, a lot of history. Obviously, with the Basketball Hall of Fame being there as well. But going there, it was very. I expected it to be, especially well, at least night one. I expected it to be a lot more like packed. It was very quiet at like the first night, obviously with Papelbon and everything, and everybody obviously said night one's pretty cool, but night two is gonna be day two is like the big show. So day two was like I was expecting like I didn't expect it to be as amazing as this. Like getting to meet all Red Sox fans and getting to meet a lot of different people and just talking to people and meeting the broadcasters and meeting the players. It was so cool to be that close to like the players, and it's just like who would have thought if they had these growing up, I'd be at every single one. But for my first winter weekend, I was very impressed.
It sure is special, yeah. So this was not your first winter weekend, was it?
No, it was not. I've been to pretty much every winter weekend since they started it, honestly. I think I've only missed like 2 out of like all of them. So I've been to a lot of them.
So you were overall pleased with winter weekend. What do you think of the whole Cinco Ocho show thing that they did with Papelbon? Did you know what they did beforehand with the first night event? And what did you think of the whole talk show thing?
I liked it because it obviously like I know last year they held like a panel with the ownership, and obviously this year it was kind of a little different. Obviously, when you don't have John Henry, you had Tom Warnick and Sam Kennedy step up on the stage after. I think a talk show with Jonathan Papelbon. Once I heard that, I was like, "This is gonna be something!" And oh my god, I didn't see the Nesson version of it, so I don't know how much they edited. But when I was there, he was very unhinged. Let's just say with that, but I really liked it. It was something good. It was something to keep the mood high because obviously, as this off season, especially for a lot of teams, especially Red Sox fans, we've been kind of like I feel like a lot last year too. We've been outbid by other teams to get certain players, so it kind of hurts to see like those players go elsewhere. And Red Sox fans entering this obviously were already frustrated with ownership, so having to see ownership step on the stage and getting that reaction was kind of scary.
I mean, it was all right, I guess. I mean, Papelbon was pretty funny for most of it. It kind of felt like it dragged on a little bit, in my opinion, but honestly, I thought it was funny. I liked the banter back and forth at the end with David Ortiz and Veritek and Pedro. That was kind of funny.
What do you think of the Red Sox offseason so far?
I wouldn't call it full throttle, I can say that. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you as much. I really thought they were going to get one of the Yamamoto or Otani or Montgomery or something at the beginning of this offseason, but I don't know. Maybe as time gone on, I kind of knew it just wasn't going to happen. And it kind of sucks because there's still like, it feels like there's so many opportunities that are still out there that you can still improve the team from, but they're just choosing not to go for it. And it's kind of annoying, honestly.
I feel like the Red Sox especially could have done more, especially with Tom Warner, especially saying full throttle, which gives a lot of Red Sox fans PTSD this offseason. I feel like when you say full throttle, you expect them to go all out and be like, okay, let's sign Shohei Otani, let's sign Jordan Montgomery, Yamamoto, let's go all out, put on the throttle, put on the gas and go. And they didn't do well. I mean, Giolito's a great star. No harm to Giolito and Cooper Criswell, who are amazing players. But when you say full throttle, you expect a big move. They haven't made a big move yet. And now they're saying there's financial restrictions for ownership, or they want to stay under the luxury tax, which is kind of concerning because you said full throttle and you want to put a good product on the team. But you want to sell the Fenway experience, but you don't want to invest in the players to make the Fenway experience good.
See, that's another thing I wanted to go into. Do you think the Fenway experience is enough to have it as overpriced as it is? And do you think it's fair to put those prices of things up for absolutely nothing?
You see, with the Fenway experience, that's the one thing that makes Fenway Park so unique because it's the oldest ballpark in baseball. It's something that when you go there, you once you go for the first time, or when you go, it's hard to explain, but it's like you feel the history of the ballpark when you walk in. It's like the experience of going to Fenway Park. You see the red seat in right field, the Ted Williams red seat. You see the pesky pole. You see the green monster. It's something that like you can't explain it, but once you're in it, you just know it's something special. You can market the Fenway experience to other teams. Obviously, a lot of opposing fans coming into Fenway Park, you could sell the experience. But for Red Sox fans ourselves, it's kind of like a slap in the face because we love the Fenway experience, but we want to have a winning team on the field in order to enjoy our experience. Because I'd rather hear dirty water at the end of the day than going home upset.
I wouldn't think so, honestly. I can say that if you're somebody that's either newer as a fan or someone that's not as engaged as some diehard fans are, I can say that it might not be worth it. Ticket prices are pretty expensive for a pretty below average MLB team. And obviously the allure of Fenway Park, it's never not going to be, something spectacular when you go to Fenway. It's always going to be spectacular when you're there. Just the history and the entire aura around Fenway Park as a whole is amazing. But I don't know. I can say I used like the $9 student tickets a lot more if I was going to go to a game. Like if they were offered, then I would go. But I feel like I still wouldn't spend like $70 for a bleacher ticket to watch them play the Royals in the middle of August. So
yeah, I entirely agree. Just to think about, Fenway's iconic with the red seat, the pesky pole, the green monster, the triangle. You're selling the experience, and the ends don't justify the means, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. If you had to say a couple things to Red Sox management right now, what would you say?
I would say, I guess, just come out and be honest. They've said in the past that they're going for it, at the beginning of the season. By now, it's like we're not going to spend any more money. And honestly, it's not a very good look. The Red Sox fans, they're not really stupid. They know baseball, they know sports, they know all of these things. And if you're just going to be a team that just wants to, tread water, wait for the prospects to come up, then say that. Don't have the comments in the media where it goes, oh, we're going to spend money this year. We're going to go full throttle this year. This is the year that the Red Sox are going to be back to relevance. And I don't know. I think management, and it's kind of crazy because I don't even think I can blame management as a whole. Like I can't blame Craig Breslow for this. It's honestly just John Henry that doesn't want to spend money on the team. So I guess if I'm John Henry, and I would just say there's a lot of people that are kind of relying on the Red Sox being a good team. They want to watch the Red Sox be a good team. And if you don't want to provide that, then I don't really know why you're kind of here doing this. So
Yeah, I entirely agree with you, and I want to compliment you for bringing up the prospects because back to winter weekend, that was one of the things the Red Sox did. They heavily marketed the Red Sox upcoming prospects, and a lot of the backlash surrounding winter weekend not only was it surrounding the whole uh, no town hall thing, no chance to express your opinions to Red Sox management. It was also, do you agree that the Red Sox spring prospects into the show was sort of a, for lack of a better word, cover their ass?
I mean, kind of. It's not really. Like, I mean, I would say, yeah, probably. I will not lie. I'm excited for the prospects. As somebody that's around Worcester, and pretty much, I mean, I work at the Woo Sox right now, so I watch the Worcester Red Sox all the time. I feel like it's going to be fun to watch guys like Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony, Kyle Teal, Nick York, all of these guys come up and play. But the fact that they're basically putting all their eggs in the one basket of all of these guys coming up and making an immediate impact isn't really the smartest thing in the world. And like, I met a lot of the prospects when I was at
So did
Winter
I.
Weekend. So I mean, I met Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony and Luis Perales and Wilkeman Gonzalez. Like, all of these guys, they're pretty good players. It's just like, I don't know if putting all of your eggs into this one basket right now is really the best thing for not only the team, but for the prospects themselves.
I couldn't agree more. Um, I'll tell you, I got to meet Roman Anthony as well as Richard Fitz and Justin Slayton. If you're around Worcester like you are, if anyone watching is around Worcester like Ian is, you're gonna love them. They're great. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't particularly like Fitz and Slayton because they replaced Verdugo in that whole trade, but that's water under the bridge at this point. One final sort of wrap up question on the whole winter weekend thing. Um, Winter weekend, it's supposed to be the kickoff to baseball season, and what kind of impact do you think that has on the Red Sox Nation, or the community it's held in, or just essentially anyone who's able to partake in it?
I feel like if you guys have the opportunity and if you ever have the opportunity to go, I would definitely go again next year for sure. I think it's a great experience, especially if like you love baseball as much as like us. Especially if you just want to meet the players and just have a hand-on experience. It's great because you get to meet the players for hands-on. You get to ask them questions, take pictures, get more personal relationships with them. Kind of like talk to people, ask them questions. I know I got to ask Letty DiNardo, Tom Karen a few questions about broadcasting because that's what I want to do for my career. So it's
Same.
pretty cool. And then getting to see Trevor Story, like take a picture with him up close, being like, dude, I'm wearing your jersey right now. Like, oh my God, like you're right in front of my face. And getting to meet like Kyle Teal and different people, it's like, it's awesome because you don't really get to say that as much. And having fan fest, and it builds a community too, because they're building a relationship with the community of the fans, and they get to see the fans hands on. And obviously, it's a great experience. And especially if you have kids and they love baseball, take them to this event because they will love it. I swear.
I mean, it kind of, like you said, it brings them all together. It gives them a chance to interact with the guys that they're watching for 162 games this season. And I mean, in this case, it gets to see the prospects in the future of what this team is going to look like. And I think that's really important. I know a few teams don't do that, but I do think every team should have this kind of a fan fest atmosphere just for your fans to kind of get hyped for the season, even if, we're not 100% hyped with the way this team is looking right now. But either way, giving them a chance to at least see what's going on and, meet the players, meet the guys that do the TV broadcasts, like the guys on Nesson, and, just give them a chance to do that. I feel like it's really beneficial for the fans as a whole.
You have any final thoughts? Just want to wrap this thing up.
Final thoughts. I hope that the Red Sox spend some money eventually. I'm hoping that we can get a guy like Jordan Montgomery or Jorge Soler, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up about it. And I just hope the team, plays well. I'm excited to watch Casas and Bayo and Devers and Duran and all of these guys that are up here right now, but I don't know. I guess we just kind of have to wait and see what this team looks like.
I just want to say one, go Sox. Two,
Yeah, brother.
all the fans that are watching this right now, be sure to subscribe and like this video, please.
Hey,
He does
appreciate
hard work at making this video, and especially because it takes a lot of work, obviously, to put these videos together. So make sure you like it. And then 3, of course, I just want to say, be optimistic, Red Sox fans. Good things are going to happen. If you're pessimistic, not a lot of things are going to happen, but I have faith something's going to happen soon. You just got to be positive.
Well, hey, thank you for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Anytime. Thank you for having me on.
Well, hey, thank you for coming on. And in the meantime, roll Celts. Just a quick plug for Ian here. If you don't watch him already, at Ian Angelo on TikTok. He's almost at 100,000 followers. Go follow him. Love his content. He makes awesome Celtics content. Pretty much making videos every game day. He streams games a lot. I can't scroll through my For You page on a Celtics game night without hearing Three-Headed Goat at this point. But seriously, Ian, we love what you're doing. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Huge thanks to Rob and Ian for their time. They both offer an interesting introspective into the weekend. On one hand, you have Rob, a Winter Weekend rookie, who offered a more optimistic view into the weekend ceremonies. Then you have Ian, a seasoned veteran of the event, who offered a more critical outlook. Both of their opinions are entirely valid. But even Ian was able to offer some positive feedback. Overall, they had good things to say about Winter Weekend. At face value, Winter Weekend is a good thing, and the people that put it on are well-intended and they're trying their best. But it's time to finalize with my own opinion, and I'm sure this is what you've been waiting for. What do I think about Winter Weekend? Does it truly deserve the backlash it gets? I don't know.
Tessie is the royal rooters rally cry. Tessie is the tune they always sung. Tessie echoed April through October nights. After serenade installed the Needing Young. Tessie is a maiden with a sparkling eyes. Tessie is a maiden